Hello. I'm sorry I haven't done a video in a while. It's actually been really crazy. My YouTube channel's been acting up because I've tried to upload at least 5 videos and it has not let me. So I thought I'd do a video today because I've had a lot of issues for the past, a week. And I wanted to talk to you guys about about a really serious problem in my area. One of the things that I would really like to talk to you guys about is abuse, because I know how it feels to be abused, mentally and physically, and I can tell you it's not a really good feeling. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story, and I'll go into some things that can help you if you are dealing with abuse, or if you are a victim of somebody who has abused you. Excuse me. So, I think I've uploaded a video, I'm not sure, but when I was growing up I didn't have a good home. Like, it wasn't nice. My parents always fought. And it wasn't like, just yelling across the house or anything like that. It was very physical. My father would hit my mother, and my mother would hit my father, and it was a really crazy time. And I know I only had one escape when I was little, and that's when I used to go to my grandparents almost every weekend. And I think that was my safe place to where I could go, that I knew that it wouldn't happen. But as I got older, my parents divorced, of course, like most of the population of the world has, and my mother met my stepfather. And at first he was really nice, the whole sucking up to the mom thing, treating your kids like gold, that kind of thing. And then when they got married, I lived in a very abusive home. My mother and my stepfather both hit me, and at the time my older brother, who is really my uncle, and that's a really weird story and I'm not getting into it. And me being 9 years old, I really couldn't stop the fact that my mother was sitting there beating, and my brother at the time was a pretty big guy. Not to be rude or anything, but he really was. And my stepdad is about 6'3", 6'4", and he was almost around 350 pounds. And my brother at the time at least weighed, at the most, maybe 200 pounds. And he was probably right around the height of maybe 5'8", 5'9". So he wasn't much smaller than my stepfather. However, he used to beat my brother, and it wasn't like, oh, I hit you once and you learned your lesson. That wasn't it. My brother would run screaming through my house, locking himself in the bathroom and closets, just trying to get away from him. And my stepfather literally broke down 2 doors in my house trying to get to my brother at the time, just so he could hit my brother. And it wasn't just my stepfather who would hit my brother, and it wasn't just physical abuse all the time. My mother would tell him that he was worthless, that his dad never loved him, that nobody ever loved him. And, being at least, I think he was around 15, 16, that's a really difficult time growing up. And to have somebody tell you that you're worthless and that you don't matter to anybody, that affects you really bad. And so it affected him pretty bad. He cut himself, and he smoked. I'm not sure if he did drugs or anything. I don't think he did, but you can never tell with people. So my brother smoked. My brother cut himself. And it was a really hard time. And it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just my stepfather who had hit my brother. It was my mother too. one time they caught him smoking, and most parents, oh yeah, they'll punish their kid if they catch them and they're underage. But my mother actually burned my brother with the cigarette. And I thought it was really stupid. You could have at least grounded him or done something that, that physically scarred him. And, my brother actually got away when he was around 16 or 17. We were going to my little brother's Little League baseball game, and my brother would not get in the car. He was yelling at my mom. My mom was yelling at him, telling me he was worthless. And I can remember this day really playing really, really well, because I remember my brother literally went up my hill, and where I lived, I had a huge dip, and then there was my house. And so he literally climbed up that hill, and he sat there. He would not move. And so when we came home, he wasn't home. We had left him there, my mom apparently thought he would cool off and then go back in the house or whatever, and she also locked him out of the house to make it better. He went up to our neighbors at the top, or that lived above us. That was actually our step-grandparents. It was my stepdad's parents. It's great when you live right below them. Yeah. Anyways, and he went up there and he had told my step-grandmother what my mom was doing to him. She had called social service and the cops, and the cops got involved. They went through a huge thing to where they were investigating what happened to my brother. Well, uncle/brother, whatever. And I felt really bad about this, because now looking back on it, I really feel terrible. And I wish that I could say something to my brother he's just like my brother. And I wish I could say something to him to even come close to telling him I'm sorry for what I did. But I was around maybe 10 or 11 years old, and they had sent us back there, and my mom had told me and my brother and my sister that if we had told them that she had hit my brother, that we would never get to see her again, that we would get taken away. And being 11 or 10 years old, you don't want to lose your mom. That's just something that you just don't want to do. Your mom is always there. She's supposed to take care of you. And so, us being as young as we were, we didn't know that it was wrong. We didn't know that it would literally affect us in the long run. But so we lied to the social service and told them that my mother never hit him. She never did anything to him. And I feel terrible about that. I really do. But my brother eventually got taken away. They did a big court thing, and he got to go live with, sorry, I hate it when people text me. And so he got to go live with his sister, and I was so happy because, even though he had a hard life, he really did. His dad died when he was younger. He never really got to meet his mom, I guess. She died when he was a baby. So he had a hard life growing up. And so, it affected him a lot. He dropped out of school once. He continued to smoke, and it was really bad. But there was a lot of reasons why my mother did the things that she did to him. One of the things of why she did it was because she didn't agree with his sexuality. My brother liked guys, and so she didn't take too kindly to that. However, that still doesn't make up for what she did. So anyway, he got to go live with my aunt, and he's doing a lot better. I think he's around 23, but he was really lucky to get out of it. And after he left, I guess the finger pointed to me, considering I was the oldest out of the three of us, and he was adopted, of course, because he was my real uncle, but it came to me, and my mother abused me for 10 years. I was stuck at my house. I couldn't really do anything. You know, I had my mom always screaming at me, yelling at me, telling me I was worthless, that my father didn't love me, that she didn't love me, that I was just going to burn for everything that I did, and you know, that really affected me. I suffer with depression now because of it. I am a victim of cutting. Well, sorry, I am a recovered cutter. Recovering addict. I don't know.